well, we launched the white paper for peaked circuits on June 30th and put the subnet out on July 8th. By July 16th, you guys had already scaled up to 36 qubits, which we knew you could get to, but I was surprised how quick you got to it. By July 26th, made it up to 37 qubits. Now, it doesn't sound like a big thing. So 37 is actually like, requires 2x the computational resources as 36, so that's pretty big. We quickly launched HSTAB because you guys were making too fast of progress on peaked circuits, and they're very hard to generate. And again, by August 12th, you guys had solved that completely, which is an incredibly impressive feat. So today we're on novelty search, and we're excited to kind of announce the next big thing. So, you know, if anybody thought that Shor's circuit was the next big thing, that impressive feat. So today we're on novelty search, and we're excited to kind of announce the next big thing. So, you know, if anybody thought that Shor's circuit was the next big thing, that's actually the next small thing. That's kind of the regular cadence of kind of maintenance on 63. And so before we announce the next big thing, we want to go back to vision, just recognizing that not everybody had the, had read up on this ahead of time. And so we set off with the vision to make quantum computing available to everybody. And if you say, let's work back from that, how do we get to quantum computing for everyone? We have to have free access to quantum, which means you have to have an open quantum marketplace, which means you need to have real quantum end users. You have to have miners who are running QPUs, that's like real quantum computers, right? Those incredibly expensive resources. You need miners running simulations too, because 90% of what's done today, now that's probably a lowball estimate, more than 90% of all quantum execution happens in simulators today. So we need to be able to do that. But in order to get quantum end users, we need a quantum company, like a legitimate quantum company. And we need financials that work so that a quantum company can actually buy into this, feed data into the open quantum marketplace, and the open quantum marketplace can survive without running out of money. Okay, so it's starting to get complicated, but bear with me. In order for miners to be running simulations, they have to be comfortable with quantum, which is why we need them running on synthetics to get started. And most importantly, we need proof of compute for quantum, which doesn't exist yet, but we have a first version of it, and we're continuing to refine it. And we have to have the ability to do cost estimation so that as quantum circuits are coming in, we can actually understand in a very accurate way how expensive should this be, and therefore how big should the reward be to miners who simulate it. And so when we outlined our roadmap, our original roadmap was to create these, again, I love the term synthetics. The first is a very narrow set of synthetics that are provable. And this allowed for experimentation in the community, for them to get oriented with quantum, for them to come up to speed. The second was to get into synthesized problems, what we called. So this was very small, controlled versions of real problems. But in order to do this, we have to have proof of compute, and we have to have dynamic scoring. And then ultimately to get to an open quantum platform. Now, we've been so excited with how fast things are moving. And we've learned a lot about how the incentives work and like how people try to work with the incentives, work around the incentives, how the different types of incentives attract different types of miners. And we sort of looked at this and we said, hey, this proof of compute thing, we really need to get that good. Like if we don't get that good, then people are going to be cheating. And this dynamic scoring, again, like if somebody gets something and we had it rated as a very low score and it took infinite amount of compute, that sucks. So we need to get that right. And we also recognize that we were incentivizing innovators, and like we've been really amassing a lot of innovators on 63. And ultimately we're going to be innovating, we're going to be incentivizing operators at phase 3. And so we said, okay, well, let's just take a fresh look at this. What if phase 3 actually became phase 2? And we started with real quantum computers first. Because despite how we believe that the future is decentralized, the truth is that real quantum computers are very few and far between. So we can actually ping those platforms to confirm that circuits were executed. That means that synthesized problems becomes phase 3, and we can continue to keep an innovation ecosystem alive, driving continuous innovation that feeds into this execution environment as new quantum backends. So it doesn't end. The innovation doesn't end. It doesn't switch to operation. We have innovation and operation. And over time, we bring on additional QPUs. And once proof of compute is bomb, we bring on simulation and we let everybody bring their HPC to put jet fuel on the scientific community and really tear this thing open. And so it's with that evolved thinking that what's next is we purchased Subnet 48. And what we've been calling Quantum on 63 is where we are going to innovate. We are going to continue to challenge quantum miners to figure out new ways of creating, new ways of simulating. And all of that innovation is going to feed into the quantum compute, where it will be operation, right? This is going to be where people are bringing the compute resources and we're creating the two-sided market. Now, if that's all kind of exciting to you, I said we have to have a quantum company. And so, well, Bittensor Labs was really formed to be able to experiment with all of this in a very safe way where, I'm potentially, exposed to the crypto world, but my quantum company is not. But what we're actually going to announce here is that we've formed a partnership to launch Open Quantum, and we're targeting the fall of this year to open this. And Open Quantum will be a marketplace where we have quantum users on one side out there executing circuits, submitting them to validators who hand them off to miners, and the miners execute those circuits and return the jobs, going completely into the organics. And the cool thing is that before announcing it, we did already enter into commercial agreements to access QPUs. So we've got the supply. And we've entered into commercial agreements with one of the really cool and most innovative quantum developer ecosystems to provide the demand. And so when we launch Open Quantum on day one, we will have one of the biggest quantum communities feeding circuits into this open market right away. And so, yeah, we think the future is quantum. We think now that the future is decentralized. It took us, a little bit of experimentation to figure that out. And what we're maybe most excited about is that we think that the future is Bittensor. So mic drop. I guess I'm done.
Wow, I think the crowd is very excited for that update. So I want to just hone in a little bit on the technology and